Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. I do what I do for you. Boy, I got something nice for you today. I had a question asked to me, and I'm going to answer that question. Today's lesson is answering the question is, what is consciousness? Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's go. You know what we do. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. Listen to story for life. Always in the lesson. I got a good one for you today. It's all about life lessons. You tune into receiving them. The numbers saying somebody paid attention, so I'm gonna keep giving it to you. Again, I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and yeah, I'm on it. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. They will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission. And that all right thinkers do just that. Know thyself. That's your goal as a right thinker. That's my goal as the right thinker master, to give you the things that you can do just that. Know thyself. With the lessons I'm giving, tune in. I'll take care of that for you. I ask the question, do you know you? This is an understanding of what kind of person you are. If you don't, listen, and maybe you'll understand which one of these people are you. Maybe one of them at one point in time, but you can decide that for yourself. Let's go. I want everybody to be able to be the last one, like more. A person who knows not, and knows not that they know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. I love them. I appreciate you. Stay tuned. I got you. Appreciate you. Let's go. A person who knows not and believes that they know, you know how I feel about them. Dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows, but knows not that they know. Not always good. They're asleep spiritually. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake them up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right? Think of know thyself. To my eye, be true. The question was asked to me, what is consciousness? I said, I like the question, but rather than give you my interpretation of consciousness, take it to the book. Because guess what? She has an interpretation. And I got a couple pages to read. It may be a two-parter. If I can't get it all in, it might be a two-parter, but good information. Just asking the question. Okay? And the difference in teaching, I'm going to say this right quick. I got a lot of information to give to you. I'm not going to take a phrase or a little paragraph and talk to you for a whole hour. And no, I like to teach. So I'm going to break it down as I go, but I got a lot of area to cover, so it may be a little lengthy, but it's all information. Hopefully it's good for you. Let's go. What is consciousness? Good question. Now, consciousness is what? The primordial state of existence when there was nothing. There was consciousness, as referred to, watch this, to the Egyptian and the Indian mythology. Here we go now. We don't know because we were there, but we can conceptualize and we can philosophize, theologically put together concepts and viewpoints. That's all we can go with. Okay, so consciousness is the primordial state of existence before there was anything, as referred to, and we're dealing with the Egyptian and some Indian mythologies. Pure consciousness, or the primeval waters, what they called it, are considered to be uninformed matter. Nothing. Just there. Potential, but nothing. Nothing going on. Okay? Consciousness is just letting it happen. Now, watch this. The self. Remember him? The witness? Watch this. God, pure consciousness. Again, everything I try to give you is going to bring you back to the same thing. I'm going to take you over here, over there, take you about there, but it's all coming back to the self, the God in you. Okay, and the idea is to become what? Conscious of that fact. And then things will change for you. That's knowing God. Once you do that, now there's some things you have to do for yourself. And when you know God, you do those things. Believing in God, and when you know Him, you on your high horse. That's the ones who are the righteous servants of God. Do that because they know Him, not believe in Him. Let's go. I'm one who knows. Okay, moving on. Where we at? So pure consciousness is what? The stuff of which everything physical objects is composed. And it is also what? The origin of the subtle matter of which thoughts are composed. Remember, everything is mental. In the same way that modern physics, here you go, has discovered the same underlying basis behind all matter, in parentheses, energy. The sage of ancient times, watch this, the sage of ancient times discovered that there is one underlying substance, pure consciousness, from the ancients. Now it's called energy. Behind all things, matter, thoughts, energy, right? Thoughts, on the debt market too, okay? Because God is all thinking, all thoughts. Don't nothing get by. Understand that. Here we go. Energy, etc. The primeval waters is a symbol, again, of what? Pure consciousness. They use the ocean, they use the water, because that's the most accessible thing here and the most boundless thing here, as it's showing you the concept, okay? From the pure consciousness, and watch this, as pure consciousness as unmodified or unconditioned existence. It's here on its own, waiting to do whatever it wants to do. It's considered the unformed substance, has not yet been what? Modified, mean conditioned. It haven't decided what it's going to be into a particular form or another. Hope you follow along with this. I'm trying to get it to you. It's about to get good. Through the process of what? Right thoughts. Consciousness, it is able to what? Become whatever it desires. You can conceive it, you can achieve it. We said that, but God does this. This is where we come from. Just want you to know that. That concept, that idea, that's God's. That is, watch this, through the process of what? Right thoughts. Consciousness, you able to become whatever it desires. Watch this. Now that is to what? Take on any form by the power of vibration. Energy, frequency, vibration makes it happen. So they just tell you right there, with the power of vibration, vibration causes what? Ripples, consciousness. And these ripples are what? Constitutes movement. Got a name for them too, my girls. Shape, color, dimension, sound, light, etc. Now something's starting to happen. With that ripple, with consciousness, something is about to happen. That's where we get the concept from. Watch this. So now, when you go to sleep, at the beginning, there is no dream. You just laying there, realize you laid out. Only unconditioned thoughts, unformed consciousness. Nothing. After some time, though, the subtle matter of your what? Consciousness differentiates itself into a what? The varied forms of circumstances, feelings, etc., meaning of your dream. Meaning when you gotta lay down and go to sleep, you about to take on a whole bunch of concepts and ideas that's in your own head. And unbeknownst to you, you think it's real. Okay? God knows everything. He don't have to get caught up in his own dream. He's conscious of everything, of all. That's the concept. Watch this. Now, we take on various circumstances and feelings of your dream. In the same manner, watch this. The universe has risen out of divine consciousness, aka the self, In the primordial state, again, there is only one self, one pure consciousness. There is not even a thought before about anything other than itself. Upon the emergence of what? Of the first thought, here we go. Immediately there is something besides what? The self, an objectified form. Now there is the experience of what? Duality of the triad. Why? Because the self can now perceive something alongside itself. I was one and I became three. So he knew he went from being by himself to being three. Triad. It is only through what? The illusion that the self is able to see anything as if it is other than itself. I told you, God playing peekaboo with himself. So, and we are the kid playing with him. Okay, we got to trick ourselves. And what? A lot of us already trick ourselves not knowing who we are. The key to this game, on this form, this level, is to know thyself. That's the game. You have to figure that part out. Watch this. It is like what? Stepping into front of a mirror. Prior to stepping in front of the mirror, there is just you. And afterwards, both you and your reflection. Same concept. It looked like you, but it ain't. It's a reflection of you. Okay. You and the reflection are what? In reality, one and the same. Though you appear to be two separate entities, the same process, watch this, operates in your dream. Get it? Get the concept? At first, there was only you. And from your conscious emerges what? The dream world, the dream state, and the dream brings in objects and personalities, meaning people, places and things, situations, etc. Okay? That's the dream world. We in God's dream world, conceptually. In order for this, watch this, to be possible, there must be what? A triad. What's a triad? Trinity, original. The spiritual, godly Trinity is the seer, that's Amen, unseen, spirit. Sing, Ra, the sun. Sight, which is self-created one, Ptah. That's what they call the triad. Or you got the subject, which is, again, the spirit. Object, which is Ra. To interaction with the media, which is the physical body, Ptah. Now, this is what? The function of the mind. All of this takes place in the mind. It allows what? The illusion of the triad to exist. However, each element of the consciousness, each element objectified form is what? Composed of the same self. The material out of which dreams and waking consciousness arise is the same. The sages have discovered that pure consciousness is the underlying basis of human mind in all of its states, but when thoughts arise in the mind, consciousness takes and identifies with the various forms. So they're trying to explain to you, the sages had already figured this out ancient times. Their scientists now figured out, they called it physical, metaphysics, and all this good stuff, modern term, but it's all the same thing. Everything is mental. Watch this. Now, at all times, God is said to what? Have created him or herself in what? The form that which is created in the same way as a person, consciousness takes on the forms in his dream. You formulate how you look, what you do in your dream. God does that to the world. When consciousness becomes something, anything from the grossest form to the subtlest, a tree, a rock, a planet, a human being, air, radiation, etc. Wow. Then it is said to have what? Created a physical object. In this manner, creation is created, aka the Big Bang. The self, watch this, seemingly no longer simply just exists in complete peace and stillness. Now, watch this, when the self enlivens a physical object, such as an animal, a planet, the human body, with the soul, the higher consciousness, spirit, got it? Then it is said what? To be living. Living God. That's what y'all say. Watch this. Now, when the self becomes involved, here we go, with the what? Thoughts and forgets itself, thinking it is the what? Object. Then this process is called identification. Self, which was pure consciousness, has become involved in what? The thoughts through a process of seemingly forgetting, ignorant of its real nature. Again, lower nature, ego. He obviously don't have a clue. So if it's running on him, you don't have a clue. Become conscious of who you are. And this is the beginning process, which what leads to the emergence of an individual soul or focus of consciousness of the what? Lower self. Identify yourself with I, me, the ego. You didn't edge God out. You're on your own. Not good. The soul, watch this, may be thought of as what? A ray of consciousness. Just a ray. Watch this. While the universal consciousness is like the whole sun. See the difference? Just a small scale, small level, but the same thing. Let's move on. All right, here we go. Now, overcome by desires for sensual experiences, the self now is what? Individual. Ego. A ray unaware of what is true nature, becomes caught up in its what? Blinded by the desires, the egoistic desires. Here you go. Now, in the biblical creation story, I got one too. When God created Adam and Eve, made him male and female, it was what? A way of saying that now there was differentiation in consciousness. Be it Adam and Eve were tempted by what? The serpent to do what? Eat from the fruit which had been forbidden to them. God said, don't do this. Good. When you do what you know you're supposed to do, you become the devil. Don't blame another entity that what he tempted me. No, 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 no. You knew the rule. Simple as that. When I was coming up, the rule was don't go out the house. You come up to school, you're on punishment. You can't go out. If I broke that punishment, well, already I had to do something to get there. So now if I doubled down and went out because I want to go out, I got to pay for that too. So remember and understand your decision making has to be understood because you're responsible for that decision that you made. And well, she told me to do it. Guess what? We got to pay too. Both of y'all got to go. Simple. That's my concept. Well, watch this. Now, here's the concept. Prior to eating from the tree of knowledge of what? Good and evil. That's the decision maker. When you're under God obedience, you don't need to make a decision. Why? Just let God lead you. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Once you venture out on your own, that ego, he takes up from God. Once you leave out of God's grace, you're on your own conceptually. Why? Because now you know things, you think you're God. The ego thinks it knows itself, and it really don't, because it don't know God. So Adam and Eve didn't have any special feelings, differentiation, watch this, between themselves or with nature. Everything was the same, equal, non-dual. However, egoistic desire, that desire led them to what? Eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This knowledge immediately caused them to see the difference between themselves. Just like anybody else, when you start seeing things, oh, whoa, whoa. But when you commit an act that you know is wrong, you feel guilt. They knew they was wrong. The minute God came back, they already made that decision. Uh-oh, we done messed up. That's because you don't follow your conscience, and you have the right to do that. But guess what comes with that? Punishment, okay? Watch this. Or they became aware of themselves. Now within nature and between themselves, which caused them to see differences between themselves, within nature, and even between themselves and God. Once your ego take over, you separate yourself from God. That's the concept. So The Christians, y'all didn't put it that way, but I'm just trying to explain it to y'all. Hope you can understand the concept. That's all it is a concept. So when you leave God's grace, you're on your own. Why? The ego gonna make you do that. That's what desires do. That's what your desire to do something else other than what you're supposed to do. That's ego. That's devil. Why? Because if you do what God tell you to do, you don't have to worry about that. So having free will, okay, you got it, but what comes with that is consequences, aka karma. Told you about that a while ago. Where we at over here? Now, the egoistic desires led them to what? Eat from the tree, of knowledge of good and evil. Okay. And immediately, watch this. They separate themselves from God. Why? Guilt. Redemption. I mean, you did something wrong. Oh, most of us do the wrong act. As soon as we do it, we were like, oh, yeah. But when you intentionally do it, you care less until what? It's time to pay. That's why self-defeating when you get caught cheating. When you cheat, you don't care. Unless you what, get caught, then you complain. But watch this. It must be understood, however, that when we use the word becomes it does not signify an irreversible transformation like milk to yogurt, but it's more like liquid water to ice. You can always go back, freeze, throw it out, go back. The natural state. This is what the world is. Watch this. And this is also what human life is, a temporary, lasting billions of years in human terms, appearance which is absolute has assumed, which the God absolute has assumed human form. Let me wrap this up. Jesus Christ. The creation story from the ancient Egypt, the Bible, and the Kabbalism, the Jewish mysticism, and the Upanishads all are what? Remarkably similar in what? The notion of prime evil, formless, and in the subsequent names and forms, the differentiation and objectification of matter, which arose later. I got to stop there. I don't want to do that. Got some more. I'm going. Okay, I hate it. Let's do this right quick. I'm going to the end. I'm going to the end. I'm going to jump out some good stuff here, but I'm going to go right to the end. Let me write this up. This one right quick is called The Mystical Wisdom of the Shabaka Stone Inscription. It breaks down their creation story conceptually. It says, creation came into being during the mind thought of Ptah, the god of gods, and his utterance of power. Words have power. He uttered himself into existence. Right quick. God created energy, matter, aka the noon, and then formed the principles by which they would be governed. You got four pairs of opposites. I'll get to that. Yeah, that nice one. Then you got atom, atom. A lot of people say it's atom, but atom is a molecule. Sun and fire. God performs the work of creation by what? Sitting on to taking the creative thought and then acting on the command of God. Therefore, atoms, atoms, are what? The creative thought from God, which what? Obey God's will, in essence, existence. God gives existence. Human consciousness allows what? Perception of and gives meaning to that existence. We have consciousness so we can recognize that existence and ourselves as one. Right quick. God is conscious of creation, therefore creation exists. Number 5, consciousness, the heart. Right this. It should be conscience with the SCINNENCE. Why? Because it's the heart. And what modern physics would call intelligence, okay, is the underlying reality behind all existence, aka all conscious, and all human experience. The sense receives information, the five senses, from what? The environment that it's in, and thereby register knowledge and existence. In fact, the world creation exists. Why? Because of consciousness. Soul intelligence projects itself into what? Existence through thought power. Again, thought power. Thoughts have power. There can be no existence without consciousness to perceive it. God is the netters, and the netters are creation. The netters are creation. Number 6, right quick. Haru and Patel are one and the same. Spirit. The Agdo, which is 8 gods and goddesses. Nun represents primeval waters. Nunet, the opposite, represents heavenly creation form to matter. Hu is boundiness. Huet is bound. Kuk is darkness. Kuket is light. The last one, Amen, hidden. Amenet, manifest. The ancient Egyptian theology based on the supreme being in the form of Ptah developed in the ancient city of Hector. The theology based on the supreme being in the form of Ra developed in the city of Anu. The theology based on the supreme being in form of which Amen, developed in the ancient city of Waset. An in-depth study of the scriptures from each of these theologies show that all the high God forms are in reality expressions of the same supreme self as follows. I am supreme. Lesson done. Hope you enjoyed it. I did.